What's going on, guys? My name is Christopher and welcome to It's Complicated, the show where I talk about and showcase wristwatches. So if you love watches like I do, you're going to want to subscribe to the show. Today, we're talking about the reasons people hate Invicta watches and why I think they deserve it. Here we go. Invicta was a Swiss watch company way back, and they were a decent brand like 100 years ago. In 1991, they were purchased by a US banking investment firm. And if you ask me, that's where trouble starts, because we all know that the banking firms are only interested in the bottom line, and they do not care about artistry or the brand value. They only care about the bottom line. One of the things people can't stand about Invicta is the deceptive pricing. It is absolutely deceptive. They have MSRPs on some of their pieces for $800, and then you go to their website and it says $800, and then it says, hey, but it's like a flash sale and it's $80. So you're talking 90% off. And you know, someone who doesn't know any better could be easily fooled by that and think like, oh man, maybe this is like a one-time only deal, or they're coming out with new pieces and get rid of the old stuff. This is an $800 watch. I can score it right now for $80. But what they don't know is scoring that watch for $80 is actually filling Invicta's pockets with cash, because they are not $800 watches. They make a big profit on $80 watches. Their margin's already there. So that's deceptive. And I've seen people actually defend this business practice on YouTube by saying that, well, all watch brands do this. Everybody has a markup, yada, yada, yada. Okay, but not like Invicta does, not even close. Let's take the new Rolex GMT Pepsi that's coming out. It's $9,200, a little over $9,200, and the profit margin there is probably 30%. Now, you're not gonna be able to get a discount on that, but their profit margin there is 30%. Invicta's profit margin on an $800 watch is like 95%. That is night and day. So that right there turns a lot of people off. And a little bit about their advertising. You know, they got guys in race cars, and it's all just like, here, please wear our watch. We will pay you money, and then we will make it seem like this is a luxury watch brand. Deceptive pricing turns a lot of people away and really sours the brand. The next thing people hate about Invicta is that their original design, like their own designed watches, some of these pieces are ridiculously huge. They wear about that big on the wrist. You're talking 52 millimeters on some of these watches. Way too big, way too gaudy, all kinds of stuff going on, chains on the side. I'm talking the real ugly ones now, like that, and that. At the risk of sounding like a total asshole, when I see someone wearing one of these gaudy, huge, over-the-top Invicta pieces, I just feel bad for them. Like, oh man, like that's your taste. Like you think that looks cool. It's not cool. Matter of fact, it's so uncool that it's offensive. So now we got the deceptive business practices, advertising, and these huge, over-the-top, gaudy pieces. Now let's talk about their homage watches. And the line draws right down the middle there, because there are a group of people who think that homage watches are fine as long as they're tasteful and respectful to the original masterpiece. And on the other side of that line, you have people who hate homage watches, period. Like, it's, you either buy the original or you just find something else you like. Let's talk about the Pro Diver, arguably their most popular watch, and it's obviously desperately trying to be a Rolex Submariner. Now, you can find the quartz version of this piece on Amazon for $33. Of course, the MSRP on Invicta's site is $395. That's that deceptive pricing that we talked about. In the Pro Diver automatic, I'm not sure what the MSRP on that one is, but that you can find for about $79. And yeah, everybody knows that the Pro Diver is trying to be the Submariner. Everybody knows they lifted the design. Some people are okay with that. Some people think that's fine. The problem I have with the Pro Diver, especially the quartz one, is it's way too cheap to be an homage to a timeless classic. You can't pay proper respect to the Rolex Submariner for $80. And even in the automatic Pro Diver, that's using a Seiko movement. Now let's take the Seiko SKX 007, okay? Let's look at that and look at the Pro Diver at the same time. They're both using Seiko movements, they both are in stainless, and they both have similar crystals. And since the SKX 007 is about twice the cost of the Invicta Pro Diver, which one do you think is going to have nicer finishing on the case, nicer finishing on the bracelet, etc.? Not to mention that Seiko is actually a respected brand in horology, and if you're rocking an SKX 007 and a watch guy like me sees it, I'll probably say, that's a cool watch. If I see the Invicta Pro Diver, I might say, oh, hey, is that a, oh. Yeah, okay, and not everybody can afford a Rolex Submariner. They're fucking expensive, all right? But if you found this video and you're thinking about buying an Invicta and you're looking at that Pro Diver, I challenge you to look again at that SKX 007. It's an original Seiko design. It's an original Seiko watch with an original Seiko movement. That beats the Invicta all day and twice on Sunday. It's so easy to see why people hate Invicta between the deceptive business practices, the over-the-top gaudy 50+ millimeter pieces, and the chintzy homage watches to all-time classics. That wraps up another episode of It's Complicated. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, like this video, share it with your friends. Still uploading 2 times a week, and I'll see you guys on another episode of It's Complicated.